All right, jabronis, we're back. Another week in the books. Another training run in the books. Just got done with another run tonight. Felt better. I felt better than last week when I did this midweek run, the 4-miler. I was dragging ass mentally, physically, looking like a piece of garbage. This week, a little bit better. I was listening to the Rocky soundtrack, so I could have played a little bit of part in it. I also remembered, back in my brain, remembered the old bastard, the old war veteran from last week as well. A little bummed I didn't see him, though, on the run because, he would have provided some motivation. I was actually thinking of, if I saw him, maybe to stop him real quick just to verify his veteran status and just to let him know that he provided a little bit of inspiration and motivation to me and hopefully to the masses now by way of his story. But he didn't show. Hopefully he's not dead. He was an old bastard, weathered, held up by a harness. Usually you see an old guy out and about during your day, like your normal pattern of life, and then they don't show up. You kind of worry a little bit, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. It was only the first time I saw him was last week, so maybe Wednesday is not his normal time to go out on a run. So maybe I'll put like a trail cam out in that same area to see if I can find him throughout the week, just to make sure that he's okay and he's still staying strong. Anyway, let's just get into it. Step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right, back on the notebook. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by the Pedo Light. Are you ever walking at night in a neighborhood with a couple of Megan's Law abiders lurking around and you wish you had a blinding light to shine in their eyes so you can escape to safety? Well, now you can with the Pedo Light. You see, the Pedo Light straps to your waist when you're out for a walk, and when you think there's a sex criminal stalking nearby, you just tap the light on your waist, and the patented strobe technology blinds the shit out of those mongrels so you can get away. So to get one today, visit www.chrishansen.com and use /bonerblinder for 4% off your first light. You know how I all feel about the pedos out there, especially those high-profile ones that are getting away with it scot-free right in front of our noses on TV. So at the very least, if you're out there at night in a neighborhood, you have the protection now. You can at least blind them. They might not get the full justice they deserve, but they won't add another notch to their pedo belt if you're out there with your kid doing a walk, and you could prevent them from doing pedo stuff. So go check out the website. All right. The fact today is super short. In fact, this episode is probably going to be super short just because that's it. It's a weeknight. It's late. I'm tired. You guys are tired of listening to me drone on and on about bullshit all the time. So we'll keep it business. Hello. So the cage fact. Think about this for a second. Now, we all know the movies Nick Cage has completed already, has done, has been in, starred in. There is a long laundry list of movies that he has auditioned for and did not get. I'm not going to go through the list because we can use those for future facts and talk about them, some other time and kind of dig down the rabbit hole on what those movies would have been like. But one of the movies that he auditioned for was for the position, for the role of Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now, I can't remember if Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the Johnny Depp one or the Gene Wilder one. Either way, imagine Nick Cage as Willy Wonka in either one of those renditions of the movie. Because both parts, both Wonkas, were pretty wild and weird in themselves. Pretty eccentric type of characters to begin with. Now imagine the Colossus of Clout himself when it comes to the weird and out there. Nick Cage doing that role. Unbelievable what that movie would have been. Unbelievable. But we'll never know. Just like Kanye said, I guess we'll never know. So think about it. Picture it in your head. Visualize what it could have been with that animal, that savage. Tell me what you think in the comments on the Instagram, posts and all that stuff, the YouTube page or whatever. If you have a thought, belt it out in the comments section. Let me know what you think. And that's the Cage Fact today. We're moving right along, folks. Like I said, we're keeping it business this week. No nonsense week. So let's spin the logo up to the junction. Now, I don't know when you're going to be watching or listening to this. It really doesn't matter. But I recently returned from a well-known guest on the podcast wedding, the Wet Cat, Sewage Phil. Him and his now wife got nuptial this past weekend. And we came from that. When I say we, it was a collective. All the brothers came together for a great weekend of festivities, parties, drinking, wedding dancing, all that shit. Awesome time. Awesome time. And it reminded me of all the good times I had with my friends from back in the day, the baseball brothers. And it got me thinking about my opinions and viewpoints on weddings. So I thought it might be a good idea to talk about those, share a little insight into what I think about weddings in general, how my thoughts and opinions have evolved, if you will, over the years and recently, why I feel the way I do, and maybe, we'll mix in some lessons learned. If you're lucky, we'll connect it back to the big three. And then you guys at home or wherever you're listening to this can use that ammo to form your own opinions on weddings and friendships and family and all that. How you doing? So, of course, we're going to teach lessons here. Well, we're going to try to teach lessons. I don't know if you assholes ever actually learn anything, but whatever. So we went to the wedding, had a great time. I don't usually like weddings. I'm going to throw it out there now. I am not a wedding guy. I've gotten invited and asked to be a part of almost 30 plus weddings in my time. But normally speaking, I am not a wedding guy. That does not mean I'm not a marriage guy. I believe in the sanctity of marriage and finding your soulmate and all that gooey shit. But the physical act of a wedding, or whatever you want to call it, the actual wedding day itself and the festivities and that shit, despise it. I've despised it for years. I've been pretty public about it to everybody I know. Most of the people know how I feel. In fact, they're tired of me bitching about it. Because every time they talk about weddings, they're usually talking about it in a positive light, excited to go to one or to have one. And I just buzz Killington all the conversations immediately with how much I hate them and the reasons why. So we're going to talk about, I guess, the good, bad, and the ugly here of weddings. Keyword the good, though. I want to bring it home and talk about that. But we're going to knock the bad and the ugly portion out of the way first, so that you kind of know where I'm coming from. Now, why do I hate weddings? Great question, folks. So many reasons. So many reasons. First things first. If you're a what's a good word? If you're a frugal, financially minded individual like myself, aka a cheap bastard, weddings are a financial nightmare. Absolute financial nightmare. I don't care what you say, how much money you have, unless you're super rich, unless you're in that world of the super rich where money is nothing to you. Weddings and everything associated with the wedding day and wedding weekend, absolute financial nightmare. We're talking thousands and thousands of dollars for essentially one night. And for what? For what? Everybody says, oh, it's the greatest night of your life. It's your wedding. You'll never forget it for the rest of your life. Yeah, you'll never forget the evening. Got it. There's a lot of things I've done in my life, though, that I'll never forget for great reasons for a fraction of the cost of a goddamn wedding. A fraction of it. Some people are spending upwards, it's normal people, not the riches, not the richies. They spend whatever they want because they have it. It doesn't matter. Money is no object. But for the normals, some people are spending upwards of $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on a one night. Imagine if you had that money for any other reason. You have $50,000. Let's go conservative. Let's say $40,000. Somebody gives it to you. Here's a suitcase of 40 G's. You could do whatever you want with it. And you decide to blow it on one night. That's it. If you step outside and you use the logic and the objectivity behind it, that's a ludicrous thing to do. Fiscally speaking, you're an idiot if you did that normally for anything else. But for weddings, it's a different story for some reason, right? Now, I should have caveated this earlier. I will caveat it now, especially to Sewage Phil and his new wife. By no means do I think their wedding sucked or was regretful or anything. They did an amazing job. They did as good as you can to accommodate everybody there and ensure everybody had a great time, which I will get into my feelings about that in general. But their wedding was amazing for so many reasons, completely justified, and they did it right. Now, I'm not going to get into why they did it right. They did it right. They didn't do really any of the things that I hate so much about weddings. So, that being said, back to the fiscal irresponsibility of weddings. So now if you go and think about burning through 40 G's for one night, what that money could have gone to, realistically, logically, if you're doing some forward thinking in your life as a couple, 40 G's can go to a down payment on a house, the most incredible honeymoon of all time, if you want to blow it on yourselves in that regard. Put it away for kids if you want to have kids. Invest it to make more money so that you could do more things with your lives. You could just cut your wedding costs down, have a smaller, less invasive fiscally thing, and use the rest of it for future good, greater good, if you will. But no, most people don't. Why? Because weddings have become this consumerized entity, this consumerized thing. They use the emotional guilt trip on you. All the salespeople involved in the wedding industry, the planners, the dressmakers, the venue owners, they all do the same thing. Oh, this is the most important night of your life. Why would you not want to make it the best and most extravagant, beautiful thing ever. Why would you want to skimp out on showing your love for your new spouse? That's how they play it. And guess what? It fucking works. Sorry, T, family show. It's unbelievable how easily that one thing works when it comes to convincing somebody to just piss away their life savings. That easy. Done. The guilt trip, do you want to make your future wife miserable? No, I don't. Well then, give me $40,000. You got it. That's all it takes. It's unbelievable. Now, forget about the cost. Actually, let's dig a little deeper into the cost because this is a nuanced problem we're talking about here. Again, not marriage, love marriage, talking about weddings. Now, if you are not financially, strapped, endured, if you will. Not endured, endowed, you moron. Guys, don't listen to me. I am a fucking moron. If you don't have money, pretty much, and you're trying to, skimp or be as responsible as you can without going, paying out a house and home or whatever, you start to lose options, right? Anyone who's planned a wedding, I haven't planned a wedding. This is completely from an outsider's perspective with no experience and just blind judgment. But if you don't have all the money for the big time wedding with everybody invited, now you got to pick and choose who goes. Then you got to restrict the venue you can go to. Restrict the band or DJ you pick. How many people can be in your wedding party? Maybe it affects the honeymoon you go on. The food you put out. What you can offer. Cash bar, open bar. All these little things come into play if you don't have all that stupid money, that stupid amount of money to just dump on a wedding. The dress can't be what you want. The tuxedos have to be, of lesser quality. I'm sure there's tons of things I'm missing. Flowers, centerpieces, size of the dance floor, what have you. Anything, all these little shit things. Shuttle service. It's all coming to my head now as I think about more and more things that you get stressed over. The anxiety starts taking over because now you have to think about these and what you're going to skimp on to have a reasonably priced wedding, because everything is overpriced when it comes to weddings and stuff. They jack everything up because they know they go back to the guilt trip. It's like weddings. The wedding industry was created by old Italian women or something. It's unbelievable. Now we get into the politics of weddings. My least favorite part. Because I've seen this from family and good friends, how it affects things. And what I'm talking about here is who you invite to the wedding. If you're not made of money, you can't just invite everybody. You certainly can't have everybody lined up in your bridal party. You can't have a 20-person bridal party. That's ludicrous. Ludicrous. Hello. So you got to start thinking about that stuff. Here's the kicker. You think it's easy. Oh, I'll invite my cousin Tommy because we talk every day. But then if you invite cousin Tommy, you got to invite his sister Teresa, who you haven't talked to in 16 years because she's an idiot. But you can't invite Tommy and not invite Teresa. Why? Oh, because then you'll make Aunt Rosa very angry. And you don't want to do that because those are her kids and you would show blatant disrespect to her as your aunt and as the mother of these children if you pick and choose which one can and can't go to your wedding. After all, it's your special day. So God forbid you get to actually just pick and choose who you want to go to your own special day. Then this is where the fighting starts. It's not just with the aunts and uncles. It's with the third cousins, fourth cousins, 18th cousins twice removed. And you're fighting with your parents now. You're fighting with your future in-laws about this because they have all their friends from work that you need to invite that you never met before, because then it's disrespectful for them. How can you not invite this person? I talk to them every day about you guys. If you don't invite them, it would be unbelievably disrespectful to them. I can't be seen at work anymore because of that. Now you got to invite someone you never met before. Imagine that. You had to invite a complete stranger that you never met before to your special day. That's when more infighting starts. Shit starts to get crazy. You start to resent each other within your own family. Things get hairy for a little bit. I've seen it. Now, flip it. You're not in the wedding anymore. You are not the bride or groom. You are the person getting invited to the wedding. You got an invite. Let's say you have to fly to the venue, wherever it is in the country. Don't get me started on the, what are those called? Destination weddings. Actually, those are probably smarter than anything else because that's the easiest way you can invite everybody knowing that only a fraction of those people will actually go. That's a real power play move. Actually, I respect the hell out of the destination wedding, and I'm kind of all for that. So if you had one or plan on having one, good on you. Real alpha maneuver right there. But for the non-destination wedding types in-house, usually it's where you're from or maybe a middle ground of where the families can get together, something like that. Now, as a guest, you have to plan travel out there. You have to plan a hotel stay out there. Now, they try to do a good job booking, blocking off rooms, get you a little bit of a deal. You still got to pay. Got to pay for travel. If you don't have a guest added to your invite, you got to go solo, so you got to leave maybe a special someone behind. Or maybe you have the guest and you have kids. Kids can't go. You got to find out what to do with the kids. Or kids can go. Now you added 2 or 3 more people to your travel and lodging expenses. Probably got to rent a car too if you got a family. Can't just Uber it. Then you got to make sure your suit fits or your dress. And if you're a fat shit, let yourself go a little bit. Your suit's probably going to be a little snug. You might have to get a new suit or something. All these things to consider as a guest. Now, and if you're an immature human being like myself, you start to resent the people who invited you just for being nice and inviting you. You're special enough for me to invite you to my wedding, and now I resent them for it. That's wild. Who thinks like that? Crazy people like me. Mental cases. So now you're going out there. If you're in the wedding, you got to pay extra for the groomsmen gear or the, how you doing? The bridesmaids shit. You got to go a day early for the rehearsal stuff. That's an extra day of lodging tacked onto it. All these little different things, plus a gift. All these different things come into play as a guest. And again, if you're immature, now you start to resent. Now, if you think about it flip it back to the bride and groom standpoint, you have an entire room of 100 to 200 people in there, with the majority of them resenting you for inconveniencing them to celebrate your special day. It becomes an absolute circus act of being fake nice, doing all this bullshit, spending all this money, all the politics, the fights you had for this one special day that looks good in the video and the pictures, but could have been an absolute nightmare leading up to it. And we didn't even talk about the bridal showers and the bachelor parties and the bachelorette parties and all that other shit that people got to do. All because some old Italian woman hundreds of years ago guilt tripped her kid, her son, into having a big extravagant wedding to show his love for his now wife, starting the cascading giant wedding industry. So you can thank old Margaret or Yolanda or whoever for starting this problem. But when I hear the word wedding, I instantly just cringe and I just immediately think about what courthouse can I get married at if I ever find someone stupid enough to marry me? Because they sound like an absolute nightmare. So I either have to be one of the richies where it doesn't matter anymore and everybody's going, or I'm not having a wedding. I'll go a courthouse and then I'll invite you. I'll send an email out and you guys can come to my backyard where we will have a barbecue if you want. And if you don't show up, that's fine too. Don't need a card. Don't need anything. I'll be fine. But let's be honest. I'm not going to find that in a future spouse. So whatever. Anyway, here is something I realized recently about weddings. And I'll tell you why too. When I used to get invitations to weddings, especially way back in the day when I first was in like high school and college and stuff, all I thought about was all that bad shit and how stupid I thought weddings were. Waste of time and money. But as I got older and the brain started maturing a little bit, I started to become a little bit more of an adult. I'm not there yet. I admit it. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. I started thinking about the why of it all. And it's not, at least to me now, it is no longer about inconveniencing myself both logistically and financially to go fake celebrate some stupid formality of a day. It has now become a reason to reunite with the close, important people in my life. So, for instance, this past wedding I went to, Sewage Phil, the Wet Cat's wedding. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. 10, 15, maybe? 10 to 15 brothers, baseball brothers, were at this wedding. That some of them I haven't seen in a decade. And it made for the most fantastic, unbelievably fun weekend I've had in a long time. Certainly at a wedding. If you can, all things considered from what I just discussed previously, had an incredible, incredible time. And that after this weekend, it got more ingrained in my head that should be what the focus is on a wedding for me internally. When I get an invitation to somebody's wedding, instead of seeing it as bullshit, now I see it as a reason to go and reunite and see my old pals again and family and important people that make me happy and more fulfilled in my life when I'm around them. And this weekend definitely did that. There's no doubt about it. And it got me thinking about all the weddings now I missed due to my job in the military. All the weddings I could have been a groomsman in. Where at the time, I had to miss them, but I wasn't necessarily emotionally charged up about it or crying over it. But as I talked with my friends this weekend about their weddings that I missed and I felt more and more like a piece of shit, not only just for letting them down, but for missing out on these opportunities, these fleeting opportunities to be with the important people in my life. And that is the big lesson, the good of weddings. The big lesson of the day is change your perspective to more positive shit. I think I saw a commercial. This is going to be a ridiculously stupid reference, but I think I saw a commercial recently. It was for I think Corona, and Bad Bunny was in it. Bad Bunny of WrestleMania. He's, I guess, a hip hop artist, but he was also in WrestleMania this past year. Incredible talent, Bad Bunny. He was in a commercial for Corona, and he was wearing regular glasses, regular for him. They were pretty flashy, but they were glasses. And he said something like, if you don't like what you see, change your perspective. And and during this, he switches to different nicer sunglasses. And he goes, oh, that's better. And that coupled with this past, trip over to this wedding, hanging out with my pals again, it got me thinking that not everything I see or experience or think about is really all that bad. Maybe I just am wearing a negative lens. And I need to change my perspective. I need to change my Bad Bunny sunglasses out into something a little bit better for me. And for that matter, everybody else, because now my negative attitude is not going to be projecting on people because it's more positive. And that's really what I'm getting at with this lesson here, is that see the good, the positive in situations, the opportunities, as opposed to the hurdles or issues or negative aspects of whatever it is you're dealing with here. For me, for this past weekend, it was a wedding, but you can take that approach for everything in life. A work assignment, having to go see relatives with your parents that you haven't seen in years and don't really care to do usually. Whatever it might be. Change your glasses, change your perspective so that you can take advantage of the good aspects of that. I've legitimately been invited or been asked to be a part of about 30 weddings so far. And that's not a joke. It's not an exaggeration. We're talking almost 30 weddings so far. I've been to about 10 of them. And I'm sitting here thinking about the 20 opportunities I missed now. Most of them are for work. Most of them that were unavoidable, that I couldn't get out of. So I don't feel as bad about the regret of missing the opportunity. I still feel terrible that the career path I chose has taken me away from those opportunities that are more important to me, frankly, than my job, and should be for anybody, honestly. If your career is more important than the close, important people and family and friends in your life, then you better reevaluate, change your perspective glasses on that a little bit. But it got me thinking about the opportunities missed, the 20 different opportunities missed to reunite and hang out with my friends again. And when I say friends, it's flippantly, but these are important people in my life. I don't have a lot of friends per se. There's a lot of people I like and I'll hang out with when we're around. But when I talk about friends, brothers, family, it's a very small circle. It's a very tight-knit circle. And it is the most fun I ever have whenever we're around together. So thinking about 20 separate opportunities, 20 plus separate opportunities, missing that hurts more than what I used to think about 20 missed bullshit weddings where I didn't have to get frustrated at all the money being pissed away and the bullshit negative crap that I used to do when I was more jaded and cynical for no apparent reason. So now when you get the opportunity, or when you find yourself in a situation where you're getting invited to a get-together, a bar mitzvah, a wedding, a divorce party, whatever it is, a stupid gender reveal. Don't get me started on the gender reveals. They are stupid. The whole bullshit behind the family fun gender reveal it seems selfish in nature. But listen to me. If you get invited to a bullshit, stupid asshole's gender reveal, don't think of it as going and perpetuating to this garbage trend. Think of it as the opportunity to go hang out with your friends, and you can, even if you want to shit talk the gender reveal together, at least you'll be together. Do it for that. If nothing else, do it for the story of you sitting there with your friends, shit talking how stupid these public gender reveals are. And you'll have lasting memories, and you'll get to physically see and hang out with and be a part of, experience your close, tight-knit family again. Because like we talked about in previous episodes, you never know when you're never going to get those again. You never know when the last hangout is. The last opportunity to be around your friends and family. You never know when it's going to happen. And if we're connecting the dots like we usually do here, let's talk about the big three. Number one, exercise every day. We can flip through this one a little bit. Everybody knows the importance mentally, physically, emotionally it has on you. Exercise every day. It's the easiest thing to do. Go for a walk, jumping jacks, whatever. If the 7-year-old war veteran can do it, you assholes can do it. Number two, don't be a shitty person. That's in person, on keyboard, text message, tough guy, or even in your inactions, like not going to an event because you think the event is stupid and not understanding the importance of this is an opportunity for me to see my friends and show support to somebody important to me. Okay? And then number three, this is where it connects back to what we just discussed at the junction. Be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And guess what, folks? These wedding invites, these text messages to come hang out at some shitbag club on a Saturday night when you want to stay home and do nothing. You don't have to always say yes to those, but see them as opportunities to hang out with important people in your lives and be grateful and thankful that you're even still getting invites for this stuff and that people want to hang out with you. It boggles my mind that there are still people in this world that send me text messages and phone calls and invites for me to hang out with them and be a part of their lives. Boggles my mind. I think they're crazy. I think they're stupid. I think they're crazy. I think something's wrong with them mentally. Probably emotionally too. Probably physically too. Maybe they're not getting enough exercise. I don't know. But it boggles my mind that somebody thinks that I'm important enough and cool enough for them to want to hang out with me. Absolute honor. Every single person. I used to get annoyed when people asked me to hang out when they knew I don't like hanging out in public with society because society sucks. And I'd rather sit at home with them and drink and BS here at the LPDS compound. But the fact that they still reach out means I'm doing something that's value added in their lives. So I'm completely honored that they're asking me to do this. And I'm grateful and thankful that those people are in my lives. And I'm going to be doing a better job day in and day out of taking advantage of those opportunities and showing that gratitude and thankfulness as opposed to ignoring or rejecting or telling them to piss off or finding some cynical reason why I don't want to do something, because you never know when you hung out with your best friend, when you hung out with your parents, when you watch late night TV, you were your grandparents for the last time. I got to hang out with some incredible human beings this past weekend at this wedding. And I had the most amazing time I've had in a long time, and I felt as good as I could have been in a time where I've dealt with stress and sadness and anxiety and heartbreak over the past however many months and years, like year and a half or whatever. And I felt as good as I have been this entire time, this past weekend, at an event I normally hate. I also don't dance, by the way. I can't dance. I suck at it. I can't do any moves with my feet, no footwork. So I just sit in the corner at weddings usually and do nothing because I don't dance, except for I dance for shots this past wedding because that's our tradition. We go out there and jump around for shots, the song shots, and for the drinks. But I usually don't dance except for the guinea hop where I drop down a little bit. So usually another reason why I hate weddings. But I had an awesome time. And it was an opportunity to see people I haven't seen in years and catch up with them and reminisce about the good old days. And it reminded me how grateful I am to have those people in my life. How you doing? And to be so value added into the Wet Cat's life that he invited me to his most special day and gave me the opportunity to see those guys again, see those people again. Because if he didn't invite me, I'm definitely not going. You can't go without an invite, naturally. And that's a missed opportunity. You don't get those back, guys. So when you do get those opportunities afforded to you to take advantage of the good things in your life, do it. That's how you show your gratitude, I feel like. That's a way to show your gratitude and thankfulness is by taking advantage of those opportunities. Instead of just saying, yeah, I'm thankful for you or I'm grateful for this stuff. You show it. Actions speak louder than words, after all. So instead of just running your dick suckers about it, do something about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Your parents ask you to come over and do chores. Let's be honest, we're adults here. You don't really need to do chores for your parents. You could tell them to piss off. You got things to do in your own life, and you'll be fine. But if you dig a little deeper and think about why they're asking you to help with the light bulb or to move a couch, it could very well be that they just want an excuse to see their kids. So you want to show them you're grateful for them? Show up, move the couch, change the damn light bulb, do it. Take advantage of that. Big three. It all connects. It all connects together, folks. That's what we do here. We teach lessons. We put pieces together. We entertain. We get your crazy, stupid brains thinking critically again and individually so that we're not sheep anymore. It's all done right here. One-stop shop. That's all I got tonight. Don't forget, hit the website, hit the Instagram's page, Apple, Spotify, YouTube's. Please like and comment this stuff. It makes me feel better because I'm insecure and I need that dopamine rush. It helps boost the popularity so that other people get to experience this greatness. And everybody wins. Everybody wins if you go out and like and subscribe. So just do it. Thank you guys for everything. Everything. You're unbelievable. I can't get enough of you guys day in and day out. I'm never stopping doing this podcast until the day I die. Somebody's going to have to rip the camera and the microphone from my dead, lifeless fingers to get me to stop. Even if I only still have 40 listeners a week for the rest of my life, because you guys are so great and so supportive, it keeps me going every week. It keeps me up. It keeps my emotions high. It gives me that little motivation, that little extra fuel to get through the week, knowing that you guys are listening. The LPDS community is strong. It's unbelievably important to me. So thank you for everything. I love you all. Stay strong.